Hey guys, happy Tuesday. I want to apologize for not being able to join you guys last week, but we're here today and we're going to briefly go over Joshua chapters 13 through 15. I hope that you've had time today to focus on his word, to read it, and to contemplate what it says and what it teaches you as well. I'd like to briefly go over chapter 13. There's a few facts within that chapter that really intrigued me. Now, the first being the very first verse, and it talks about how Joshua was well advanced in his years, and scholars believe he was in his 80s or 90s. And so, at the beginning of the chapter, you see that God is calling him still to do more work for him, and he tells him, "You're not done yet. I'm not done with you yet. There's still more to do." So, what does that teach us? Well, this is what I found to be true. You can see that Joshua was very committed to the Lord. There was persistence in his walk with God and with following his will for his life. Even despite his age, he still continued to follow the Lord. And if God called him somewhere, he went and he did what he was called to do. You see that he trusts God and he knows that God has him in his hands and that whatever God is calling him to do, there is a purpose for that. And he's willing to take whatever steps are needed. You see that he's willing to be a servant to God. So no matter what age we are, no matter where we are in our daily life or what season we're in, we can be a servant for the Lord. He can use us in every way at any time if we were only willing and obedient to his call. You also see that he left a beautiful legacy, not just for the Israelites, but even for us as Christians today. Joshua's leadership reminds us to leave a positive impact on others. And that teaches us that we can and should strive to leave a positive influence on people and to leave a legacy for those who are left behind us. And it should also be an impact on those around us. It's something that people should be able to know who you are and to know that you serve the Lord and that you follow him, that you're a light in the darkness. So overall, Joshua's story challenges us to remain faithful, to be obedient to his calling, and commit ourselves to God's plan for our lives, regardless of our circumstances or our age. Also, in verse 13, it says this. It says, "But the Israelites did not conquer the Geshurites or the Mekathites." It says, "Jeshur and Maacah live among Israel to this very day." So why was that kind of put into the scripture verses? What is significant about that? Well, what's very significant is because the Israelites were not obedient and they did not listen to the Lord and drive out all of the Canaanites. They left these two groups of people. And so later in scripture, you see King David actually marries a princess from Geshur. He marries her. He has a child with her, and that child's name was Absalom. Now, what's important about him? If you know anything in the history of David and the history throughout Scripture, you know that that particular son rose up against David. In fact, he fled back to his mother's hometown, which is Geshur, and that's where he planned to overthrow David. So there's definitely some implications there. There's definitely some long-lasting effects. When we disobey God, it doesn't just affect us. It affects everyone around us, and it could affect the future. So when God has a calling in your life, when God is calling you to do something, to step out in faith in him, to serve him, whatever capacity it is, remember that he has you in his hands, that you can trust him. And if you obey, you are most likely going to save lives. Your actions could not just bring the lost to Jesus, but could potentially save so many other people. But when you disobey, you have to remember also that you have the potential to really mess things up. So hopefully that challenges you today and reminds you on who God is, that he has you in his hands, that he has a call on your life, and that you can trust him, and that you can leave a legacy as Joshua did. I love you guys, and I hope you have a good day.